Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. I've got to tell you, I've got a very short period of time to give you so much great information. I'm going to be talking to you today about driving operational efficiencies. In essence, what I'm going to be doing is almost like giving a pitch, as if I would be giving a pitch to a potential client or a client that who just hired me as an AI consultant. Let me start by showing you who I am. Melvin Capers, there's the resume. I want to point out just three things here. First of all, 40 years. A lot of time working for the federal government in capacities where I've supervised many, many people, but more than that, I've helped organizations transform. And I think in the AI world, this day and age, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be transforming organization. And as an AI consultant, I think we're in the right field to do that. I also want to show to you that, and out of the 40 years, 27 was in the Air Force, and I served as a platform or a classroom instructor. I also did some curriculum designing, and most of my designing and curriculum was in the leadership field, and most of my teaching was in the leadership field. After I left the Air Force, I was teaching in the classroom again, and I was an adjunct professor at a few colleges, and I also did some training or some teaching at the University of Phoenix. So uh, my most significant thing, though, I would say, is that as a AI consultant, I created something called the COREFORGE Method. My COREFORGE Method is a method I use when I'm helping organizations achieve excellence. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using a little of my tool to actually show you how to use some of the AI tools to create efficiency. I'm going to use the CoreForge method to do just that. In essence, I've got something called the core framework that we're going to work on. I'm going to be doing some live demonstration throughout this presentation, and then we're going to have a strategic path forward. Now, let me just say now, in this day and age, we have many business owners, many people who really believe to a certain level that AI will be helpful to them. And honestly, they're afraid. And honestly, there are some people who are willing to wait out AI. And you and I both know that's going to be a very long time because we are about to go into an era that's not going to turn around. And so we AI consultants have the opportunity to be in the foreground, helping organizations improve. I'm going to show you exactly how certain tools can help organization gain efficiencies, go from all the legacy way of doing things to being done very efficiently. And I'm going to use my framework, and I call it the core framework. The core framework. And there you have it. The core framework starts with capturing information and then optimizing an opportunity. Then what you want to do is refine your organization so that you can have some very, very, very good deliverables in the end. So that's what the core framework is. Follow me on this because in each one of these phases of the core framework, we can use tools. And then the first tool I'm going to introduce and demonstrate for you is the NotebookLM. I'm going to do a demonstration with the NotebookLM. So let's jump right into it, the NotebookLM. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you gather as many you gather as many organizational knowledge base information, anything about the organization, and you would put it in this tool, this NotebookLM. Each one of these instruments or documents are going to be used as a part of NotebookLM. So we're going to grab this and just drop it right in here. And what is happening now is NotebookLM is evaluating each one of those source documents. Now look at the title of some of these source documents. Some of these source documents uh, deal with profiles of the company, annual reports, minutes, transcripts. I'm going to tell you when it comes to NotebookLM, I would not use anything less than 10 source documents that gives a great idea or a great impression of the organization that you're looking at. That's what you want to use when it comes to NotebookLM. Then what we need to do is we need to put a prompt in NotebookLM to tell it exactly what we want it to do. Once we get that prompt in there, now we're ready to take a look at the 15 sources and have NotebookLM do its thing. Now, once NotebookLM does its thing with your 15 source document, knowledge document, it's going to create this report. And this is the report you're seeing. And it's an as-is status report. You're going to need this moving into the next phase. Now, why perplexity? Because perplexity is made to dig deep, to give you more than what you could possibly imagine. And what I mean by that is you need as much source document as you possibly can. So I have a prompt that I already have created. I'm going to plug it in here. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to include as an attachment the document NotebookLM provided me when it completed its query. And voila, here we have a report that Perplexity created that captured every piece of information from NotebookLM, and it incorporated into its report here, looking at lessons learned and other things that are important to define as is status of an organization and to help you optimize as we move forward. That is Perplexity. Once again, I have an extensive prompt for this, and this is just a truncated portion of that prompt. If you want the full prompt, you can use that QR code to get to the full prompt. The next tool we're going to look at is our favorite, ChatGPT. What else can you say about ChatGPT? And now, just as we did before, what we want to do is take a look at ChatGPT, and we want to plug in the prompt. And I already have this copied. I'm going to plug it right here. And we also want to put those two attachments on this ChatGPT, the attachment that we started with on the C phase and in the O phase, the one done by NotebookLM and the one done by Perplexity. We attach it here and see what Chat does. Thankfully, Chat asks questions. And in this case, only 3 questions that I needed to answer. And in answering it, it helps it refine how it would respond in its final result. So let's take a look and see what it came up with. Very thorough. Love it. Love it. And here is the report for the refine phase. That's ChatGPT. Again, coming from NotebookLM to Perplexity through Chat. Now we're ready to make slides so that we can make a presentation to the leadership of this organization and, more importantly, the one person who thought that AI was just too much for her to have to deal with. That's what we're trying to convince. And we're going to do that in the final stage, the execute stage. But before we do that, I want to show you really quickly what the prompt looks like for the ChatGPT that I just did. I have the extensive prompt by following that QR code. Go to that QR code, you can find the entire prompt for ChatGPT and others. So let's do a recap, a real quick recap to see where we are before we get into the final tool, and that's the Gamma tool. So we looked at each one of the letters of core in the core framework. We captured the information using NotebookLM. We optimized and created an as is and a to be document using Perplexity, and ChatGPT also helped us to go into the R phase where we started to refine the opportunities for improvement, the opportunities for efficiencies. That's how you use the tools in each one of these, remembering some of the framework that we learn in the AI consulting certification program. Ta-da! So let's see how we put it all together. We go into the last phase to execute deliverables. In essence, what we're trying to do is we're just going to put a high-level presentation together. And again, we do that by using one of our favorite tools. It's called the Gamma tool. The Gamma will help you create some slides, very polished slides. Now, you can use any AI tool you'd like to create slides. I just happen to like Gamma. So here we are at Gamma. And with Gamma, it is so wonderful. I love to click on this blue button that says Create New AI. I use this because if I need to include something, create a image or what have you, I absolutely love going into this particular Create Gamma with AI. So I have, as usual, already have the prompt already pre-copied there. I'm going to pop it in here. So let's try Gamma. There you go. It's putting it together now as we speak. And I like the way it looks. You can always review it. You should review it. And once you review it and find out if it's passing on the message that you really want to pass on, that's the AI tool you want to use. So in the interest of time, what I want to do is I want to go back to where we were when we talked about Gamma. Here's the prompt. And once again, I have a very detailed prompt and some instructions. If you use the QR code, you'll find that as well as the slides and everything else you'll need. So this is what Gamma can do for you. And once you get the slide, of course, you're ready to present. You're ready to take it to the executive team, the leadership of the organization, and show them how they really can reclaim the strategic work hours. They can become more efficient. The legacy programs, the legacy way of doing things in the rearview mirror. That's what you want to be able to do as an AI consultant. You want to be able to dig deep. You want to get additional information. You want to get everything you need to convince your client that you are the consultant that can help them get to a place they never thought they could get to, especially those who are somewhat timid and uncomfortable with the use of AI. It's more than just training them how to use a tool. It's showing them how to make their jobs, their workforce, their organization, their companies more efficient. That's what being an AI consultant is all about. The Gamma slides are looking beautiful over here. All you need to do now is just download them. Go here, we hit export, and I like to export my slides into PDF. And it just does something. I can use it in different places. It doesn't take up that much. Once it's done, you have it. You put your presentation together, and guess what? You're ready to rock and roll. So that's it. I mean, I know it was real quick, and obviously I had to speed things up by having prepared the prompts, just dropping it in so that the process can continue to move forward. But again, I use my core framework, which is a part of the COREFORGE method that I have. And that framework keeps me focused. Using the TADA framework helps you stay focused as well when you are using the tools to gather the information. And you talk about assemble. When you are assembling all of this information together, these reports, these tables, everything, it's critical in how you do your presentation. And the Gamma presentation, I wouldn't say go too much on the slides. If you can narrow the slides down to less than 10, and that's an introduction slide and maybe a Q&A slide. So really 8 good slides that show great information. That's all you really need because you want to show efficiency as well when you are doing your work as an AI consultant. So that's all I have for you before I go. I just want to let you know that I do have the information you need, all the information that you'll need, and it's right there in the QR code. If you still have any other questions that you'd like to ask, please contact me. You can contact me by email, telephone, or go to my website and just chat with me. Let's get something together. You won't be sorry. I tell you, I used to do this for a living. Like I said, for 40 years, I was working for the federal government, and I was at a level where strategic planning was a part of what I did. COREFORGE Method is based on that same principle. Doing things at a level where a tool can change, but your concept and your framework, if you have it done well, you can just plug and play with the tools, and you'll continue to be efficient at what you're doing. I've enjoyed myself showing you these tools. Please get in contact with me if you'd like. There's my contact information. Again, the QR code has all the slides as well as all of the prompts that you'll need to run this through your AI consultant program. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to be before you. And I want to say before I leave, please take care of yourself, but more importantly, take care of your family.